Hello friends and welcome back. So we're going to be talking about a mod stack to make your NPCs be beautiful. This was prompted by me doing a post on Twitter over the weekend, and I saw numerous complaints from people about ugly NPCs, and they were using low res footage from Starfield with the graphics turned all the way down. But I do agree that the NPCs can be dressed up a little bit. So we're going to be covering a mod stack that I like to do to make my NPCs beautiful. Majority of this is going to be by Zone 79, but there is a mod by someone else that is intermingled in here. But stay till the end. We'll cover that at the end, and it's going to be probably the most important part. So let's talk about the beginning here. So I am using Zone 79, specifically the ZBB instead of the vanilla shape. I'm not a huge fan of the vanilla shape of female NPCs within Starfield. A little bit too flat for my tastes. This makes them just a little bit more voluptuous. So we are using clothing-wise. Let's talk about the 3 packs I'm using here. It's EiT Clother Pack. That's the first one. We're also using the Crimson X, as you can see with Jessamine here, and we are also using the Bounty Hunters clothing. That is what you'll see several characters in here as well, but these are rather large packs. She's wearing the Bounty Hunter outfit. It does have a nice cowboy hat that it comes with, and to further elaborate, these packs are quite ginormous and will give you a lot of different options. But to cover another mod here, those 3 were completely free. This mod is a crowd overhaul, also by Zone 79. This is going to overhaul the crowds, and it basically puts a lot of the clothing that you find in Zone 79's packs on the different crowds throughout Starfield, mainly the 4 separate cities. We're going to show just a little bit of footage from each because they all have their own flavor and fare, and it kind of gives them their own separate cultures, which I do like and I enjoy that. This is a $5 purchase. If you wanted to get the Overhaul, this is the only paid mod that I'm showcasing right here. The rest of them are going to be 3. So those 3 clothing packs were completely free. I am going to also, if you check the pinned comment at the bottom here, I will have them all listed out with the price tags so you can see if there is a price tag or if it's free. And like I said, this is the only paid one in the mix. So we have those 3 clothing packs, which is going to give you a lot of different options to dress up your crew and companions. You have this Overhaul, which is going to give the 4 major cities of Starfield a nice overhaul to their clothing and attire. There is also a face overhaul that is done as like a side spin-off from this main overhaul, so you can pick that up as well and overhaul their faces if you so desire. I don't really have too much of an issue with the faces of the NPCs in Starfield. I know some people do, but that overhaul does exist if you want it, and you can overhaul their faces to give them kind of more of a dramatic sci-fi look, and I think it does do that extremely well. I think probably what I would say is my favorite aspect of this overhaul is it overhauls the body meshes a little bit. So like there's a little bit more curves in the ladies opposed to the vanilla Starfield NPCs. I don't really see the vanilla Starfield NPCs as ugly as a lot of social media will depict them, but they definitely could be dressed up a little bit and made a little bit more risque, a little bit more curvy, etc., and have a little bit more flair with their clothing and accessories. So I do agree that they definitely could be improved upon. I just don't think they're nearly as bad as what a lot of social media will depict. But this mod does definitely step up the clothing and attire. So that will give us 4 mods. You have the 3 clothing packs, which has an absolute ton of clothing. Let me tell you, there is a ton of different clothing options that you will be able to dress your crew and your companions in. They come with tons of accessories, and there is stuff for basically male and female characters, so you can, basically choose how you want to dress them up. But in tandem with this mod as well, you basically can overhaul majority of the NPCs within Starfield itself. So all the crowds get overhauled, and then you can, dress up your crew and companions however you'd like. And of the 4 major cities, I would say Neon is probably my favorite overhaul. Kind of gives me Blade Runner vibes, so very kind of sci-fi, dark, almost like cyberpunk. Not quite as much as cyberpunk, but definitely gives me a little bit of Blade Runner vibes with some of the clothing choices that we will see as we walk through Neon here. But I think this is positively worth the $5. Myself, I don't know if I would pick this up, but that's because I am not a city dweller. How I play this game, I almost never go to major cities. I love being on the frontier and on the edge of the settled systems, but I know a majority of people actually do go to the cities a lot, and they do have a little bit of grievances about like how the NPCs look. And like as we can see, this overhaul kind of does make it a little bit more futuristic, a little bit more sci-fi, kind of puts a little bit of like neon lights into their clothing, etc. And we see a lot of different styles of clothing that is brought out here. I think it does a very good job of overhauling these crowds to give it more of a sci-fi feel to it than what the base game does actually do. But as we get in here, we're going to go ahead and talk about a couple different mods that are going to allow you to do some really spectacular stuff with your companions. So the 2 mods we're going to talk about coming up is Enhanced Companions by the Chan Chan Man. It is free, or you can pay him $1 if you feel like tipping him, and that allows you to take your companions to Enhanced and alter their bodies. And then we are going to also talk about Zone 79's beautiful body meshes, and that gives a new body mesh to the NPCs. So right now we are looking at the vanilla state of Andrasia. So this is basically what Andrasia looks like in the base game. Perfectly fine NPC if you ask me, but I think we can do better. But let's see, what we're going to go ahead and do is walk through all the extremes that we can do with Zone 79's beautiful body meshes. So right here is basically the largest you can make Andrasia with Zone 79's beautiful body meshes in tandem with Enhanced Companions. And as you can see, we can get fairly large here, but we're going to go ahead and take it to the other extreme, basically to see the other side of things. So let's see how thin we can get Andrasia, and this is basically 80s supermodel thin, rather skinny if you ask me, a little bit too skinny. If that was a girl I met, I would probably be taking her out to eat because she looks like she is about to fall over. But we can actually do some more things. So I went ahead and turned Andrasia into a muscle mommy for all those who do fancy that. Lot bigger deltoids and traps. Everything basically pops out a little bit more. And this is basically the extreme you can go on the muscle scale for Andrasia. But I'm going to show you this right here is the default. So this is the beautiful body mesh by Zone 79, the default setting where we're not changing at all. And as you can see, a little bit bigger butt, a little bit bigger boobs, a little bit wider hips, just all around, just a little bit more curves. But make sure you check the pinned comment for details on these mods themselves.